Hello and welcome to another episode of Cocktails and Curtain Calls, Quarantine Edition. I'm Matt Austin. Do we remember how to do
And
this?
I am Beth Young.
There we go.
Yeah, I do. I got it down 100 plus times, right? I'm Beth Young, and we are going to talk about all things theater in this respite moment. So we'll talk about what we've seen and talk about what's coming up and talk about how we can continue to support local community theaters, nonprofit theaters, so they're there when we're ready to go back to the theater.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're hoping, I think this was the plan to maybe kind of do this a handful more times at least, and maybe get some guests going forward. Is that's right? Am I right in that? No? We'll talk about it off air.
I didn't catch any of that.
Oh dear. But yeah, as you can see, we are in our homes and we're both theater nerds. I have my Boeing poster and all my plays and my disaster lobby, and Beth's got her All the World's a Stage there. So we are true theater people through and through.
Yeah, at home and abroad. We are.
Exactly. So how have you been?
Been great. Thank God everyone is healthy. Your family as well.
Yep,
Everyone
everything
is hanging in there. Yeah.
so far so good.
Good.
Which is a good
And we
thing.
hope that for everyone
Yes.
listening, that everyone stays safe and healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. So where do we want to start? Do we want to start talking about the things that we have seen, local stuff that we before the shutdown?
Before the shutdown, we eked in a few performances at the last minute, and I want to say thank you to those theaters for keeping them alive, because the people in these shows put in so much work. Yeah. So it was great to be able to see that, and for me to be able to write about it too. It was great. So the first one I think we both saw was 10 by 10.
3 by 10.
Oh, 3 by 10.
3 by 10.
Yes.
If there was 10, that would have been a very long night.
Unless they were very short.
They were, yes.
Yes, 3 by 10. So we both saw that, and I first of all, if I'm going to go first, I'm just going to say plays I had no idea about. Mm-hmm. I knew nothing about these plays, so that was enlightening. I had the good fortune of being asked to go up and do a article before it opened. That the director, Catherine Almquist, who's fabulous, invited me to come up, and I interviewed Agnes Phone, who was in the production, and Catherine Almquist about the plays themselves, how they found them, why they wanted to do them. So that gave me some information, and was her motivation was so sincere and so enthusiastic. So it was really nice to capture that.
They were Catherine's favorite of the Tennessee?
I thought that the plays were very diverse and really interesting. The same themes, those female, and I thought they did a great job.
Yeah, I really.
I think go ahead.
No, sorry.
We're struggling with the.
Wait, this is a new thing.
Yeah, because we talk a lot. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask you. So with Catherine, they were her favorite. Is that how she chose them?
She chose them because they were 3 plays that are relatively unknown, and were, she had a real passion for them. Yeah. She didn't use the word favorite, but really felt strongly that these were valuable and a revealing of the artist, that they spoke to a different element of his, but again, the same kinds of stories, this tragedy, the strong female character, so 3 of them. So the first one was the Gnatigus Fraulein, which was, this boarding house for permanent transients. And it was, 2 female characters ran that performance, huge monologues that were very demanding, and they did a great job. So that was Beth Harding Beth Bono Harding and Agnes Phone. And then Noelle Desiato plays she plays the Gnatigus Fraulein, and she was really, oh my goodness, so heartbreaking. So just really different. The environment was different. The characters were different. The character that Robin Frome played was really different. And then Joe Russo as the Cockaloony bird. He was great. He
Yeah.
was just great. So it was, again, really different, like more, a little more, what do you want to say, like an unusual set of circumstances than the usual, family saga thing that he does. So it did. So I really appreciate that. The middle piece was uh, oh gosh,
This
declared
property is condemned, I think it was called.
this property is condemned. Right. That was with well, as you know, Risa Nestor and Joe Russo. Okay, that just blew me away.
Yeah.
I mean, did you love that?
It was here's the thing, all of the performances across the board, this was what I was saying to, I went with Jenny Shook, my friend Jenny, and I'm not a big Tennessee Williams person, so the plays, they were very different and they were good. I mean, obviously they're Tennessee Williams, but the performances, everyone across the board kicked it all up like 10 notches, between Beth and
Huge.
Agnes and Risa and Joe really knocked it out of the park.
That was I think I said to you in my review, I wrote something like a master class. It was just that was just an extraordinary piece of work. And they did beautiful job, just so elegant and so, again, so really heart wrenching, but just this very nuanced performance that was beautiful. And then the final piece, the advice from a parrot, was so funny and so charming. It was Stacey. It was not Stacey Abrams. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get her first name wrong.
Susie Abrams and Stacey
Susie
Fromm.
and Stacey Fromm, with a little Robin Fromm thrown in, and then our two, yeah. So that was utterly charming, and
Yeah.
the capturing of the way friends talk to each other was really, I found that pretty fascinating. Those kind of backhanded compliments, in your face insults, but they're just still friends doing the same thing. It's just really, I found that really, really charming. And I agree. Performances across the board, fabulous.
Yeah.
So, there's my hope that these plays will, it's so much work, again, that they will be able to maybe remount them at some point, continue the run at some point. So we're hopeful for that, but really glad that they were there. And then the other one we saw was Moon Over Buffalo.
Yeah, Moon Over Buffalo. Yeah. Just quickly before we move on to Moon Over Buffalo, a couple of thoughts. Like you said, I hope they can remount them somewhere at least. And because they are shorter pieces, especially something like Risa and Joe's, doing it somewhere else, for a one-act festival or whatever it might be. It was.
Right.
It's truly, they were not, even Susie and Stacey's. That first one, the Grenade, I can't pronounce it. I don't know, but that one was almost an hour. So that one's almost a full. I mein, it is still technically a one act.
I'm sort of catching every word here.
Oh, sorry. Well, it's overall, I really loved it, and performances aside, the set was incredible.
Incredible.
Incredible. I wanted to live on that porch.
Yeah. But I was so, to work so well for both of those first two plays,
Yeah.
I was amazed by that set.
Yeah.
It was really just so authentic and so perfect. It was great. And
as much as I loved Joe's performance as the cockaloonie bird, I do have to give a shout out to Bill Hughes, who built that puppet. He built that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that cockaloonie bird was very, very funny, and Joe's performance was great, but the bird itself was also great. The whole production, it's a shame that they only got the one weekend. I wish more people could have seen it. So Moon Over Buffalo.
Yeah, I think
yeah. This technology thing's fun.
Yeah, we're working it out. We're working it out.
So Moon Over Buffalo only unfortunately got one weekend as well. You got to were you there? So I was there, when was I there? Saturday? Were you there opening night?
I was there Thursday night for the preview. I wanted to get in, I think it was Thursday night. Yeah, that I was there, because I wanted to catch it in case it closed earlier. So, so I went right away, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's Ken Ludwig farce. It's funny. Bob Lucier is always hilarious. The play itself is very funny. There's a fascinating documentary if you're stuck inside, called Moon Over Broadway. It's
the moment.
The what? Yeah, exactly.
I
Um,
said, this is your moment. Yeah.
there's a great documentary called Moon Over Broadway about the original Broadway production leading up to the rehearsals and everything leading up to the Broadway production with Carol Burnett. It's fascinating to watch, and it's interesting to see the process of a show being written and rewritten, and yeah, so it's fun to watch, and then getting to see with a lot of friends and people we know, getting to see that show then up there was a lot of fun.
That is interesting because, we've talked about this so many times with the farce, and it's so silly and it looks so goofy, but the precision and the
Oh yeah.
timing and every word matter. It's very challenging to put a
Yeah,
show like this together. And so tell, where can we see that? Where would we find that documentary?
I think it's on YouTube in its entirety because when long story short, I think some people know I was originally cast in that production, and because of work commitments, I got a new job. I had to unfortunately drop out. But that was one of my prep things, was watching that documentary, and it's all available just on YouTube. It's really it's really interesting to
Oh,
see.
that's terrific.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I would be interested in.
yeah, it's for anybody in the theater, really anybody who does creative things. It's because you hear the conversations that Ken Ludwig, the playwright, have with Carol Burnett, and changing words, and Carol's like, this word might be funnier than that word, and this it's really interesting. And like you said, the precision of farce, it has to be boom boom boom, and the speed at which it has to go. Yeah, it's interesting, and I enjoyed Brookfield's production, and Jane did a great job. Jane Farnall, the director, did a really great job. She
Always,
always, yeah. I also love the
always,
costumes.
yes.
I love a good 1950s costuming.
Yeah, it was beautiful,
Yeah,
actually. It was just beautiful. I thought, well, the dresses, I'm just a sucker for an A-line dress, and I just thought they were great. They
yeah,
were just beautiful, the whole thing. And I thought that, again, I thought the set, and that's Andy Okel, who just one after another puts out a great set, was just the perfect backstage dressing room, kind of shabby, but perfectly done,
yeah,
perfectly done. So I thought that was great. I do have to give a shout out to the two leads, because I thought
yep,
Vicky Sosby and Bob Lucier they left nothing behind. Their energy and the intensity with which they put out that piece was, I thought it was great. I thought everybody was great. Brianna Bowman was great. Chris
yep.
Bird was great. Sean Latazza was great. And the last guy's name is going to completely escape me. Tom, do you remember who played Paul?
I don't. And Julie
Oh,
was the
sorry.
other girl, and Dandy Barrett was
Oh, yeah,
the
I thought she
mom.
was terrific.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was terrific.
yeah.
Yeah, a great cast all the way around. If we messed up your name, I'm so sorry. If I messed up your name, I'm
We've been
so
stuck in
sorry.
the
But
house for a while.
I totally enjoyed that whole. We've been stuck in the house, a little stir crazy. But again, great, and I hope it gets another run, because the work that went into that, uh, the timing, everything, I thought was terrific.
That's what's
So
been
yeah,
so that's what's been so crazy about this whole thing with theaters, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about this, is the decisions to the decisions to cancel or postpone. No theaters are like taking it lightly because of all the work that goes into. I was in the middle of, not middle, we were about 3 weeks into rehearsals for the producers at the Warner, and literally last Thursday, our director came in and said, just so everybody knows, we are going on as scheduled. This is, everything's a go, et cetera, et cetera. And I woke up Friday morning to an email that we were being postponed. We are right now postponed to next May. But there's some talk. We really don't know. Obviously, no one knows when this is going to all be over. So there is talk of
right.
maybe putting it in the summer, but right now we're shooting for next May. I know with TheaterWorks, we're kind of shuffling our season around because we're not sure. And I know it's the not sure that's scary for theaters, community theaters, of like, can we get, so with TheaterWorks, we have a show in May. Is that a thing we can realistically actually happen? we
Right.
don't know. We have to really take it day by day. And places like Musicals at Richter are okay right now because they're normally just a June to August type of theater. It's interesting to see, and the Warner's shuffling and Ridgefield. So I don't know if I didn't tell you this. The Ridgefield Theater Barn. Did you? No, you didn't, because I was at the dress rehearsal. Their one act, their night of one acts. I went to the dress rehearsal, and again, Pam was like, "We are going forward, and this is the plan." And then the world changed the next day. So they
The
got,
last minute, 'cause, yeah, I was, yeah,
yeah, they
it
didn't
was
even
on
get to. They
schedule
didn't
for
even.
review.
Yeah, they didn't even really get to perform. They did. They had their dress rehearsal that I was at, and I saw it. And it was great. But yeah, they didn't even get to go up at all. So it's interesting,
Yeah.
and hopefully theaters will be taking
Interesting.
that
I
into.
think we have to, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I
No, no,
interrupted
no.
you. Go ahead.
I was set. Go ahead.
Were you wrapping up? I was just going to say, I think we have to, as we mentioned before when we were talking, that before we started filming, that we want to be recognize that time and money has been put into these shows that did not go up. And these theaters are not for profits, and they operate on a shoestring of a budget. So we hope that everyone can um, contribute in some way, even if it means just not asking for a refund for a ticket for a show that you have. Just, you were going to spend that money anyway. So if you can,
Yeah.
and understanding that not everybody can, just let them have that, make that a donation to the theater. And go
Yeah,
ahead.
the real fear is, like, realistically, that some of these, unfortunately, hopefully none in this area, but they may not survive through this, some theaters, financially, if they can't put a season on. What is actually going to happen? So like you said, if you had a ticket for a community theater production, think about, if you can, not taking a refund and just allowing that to be sort of a donation to that theater. This is also a great time to buy a subscription or a gift certificate or gift certificate. I'm like
Yes.
100 years old, to a theater, to an arts organization. I mean, not just theater. The arts is really one of the things that's going to be, unfortunately, suffering in this time, because it's not a necessity necessarily, but for
It is
emotional,
for
and
us.
it is, well, for emotional, and like, it's, nobody realizes how important the arts truly are. It was funny, I was talking to someone. I keep touching my face, so please don't anybody report me to the CDC. um, I was talking to somebody, and
Don't
they were
try this
saying,
at home. Right.
they were saying that if all this arts and entertainment stuff is shut down for how long, there's gonna then be no more new TV shows and no more new movies and no more new this, no more new that, because everything's been shut down. And we don't think about that right now, but hopefully it never comes to that. Hopefully it never comes to that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we hope to keep things moving in whatever way we can. And the best way to do that right now, as you're saying, is to donate whatever you can, um,
Oh,
to make sure that they can stay afloat in the long term. Because
yeah.
who knows?
Uh-oh. I think I'm losing you, maybe on my end. Maybe that's a good maybe that's a good signal that we might need to wrap this up, maybe. Oh, one quick thing,
Because we're frozen.
because we're freezing up. One quick thing. So when I posted about this being us kind of doing another episode, the thing that everyone, I forgot to tell you this beforehand, the thing that everybody was like commenting on, they were like, you can have real alcohol now, you can have real cocktails. But we are recording this very early in the morning, so this has just been a coffee I've been drinking in my Wonderland mug, a show that closed very quickly on Broadway. But maybe next time we'll have real cocktails.
Maybe next time we'll have a cocktail hour show.
Exactly.
We look forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, did we cover everything we wanted to cover?
I think we did, and we just, again, we want to wish everybody well and stay safe and cozy and healthy. Wash your hands, don't touch your face. What is it they keep saying? Social distance.
Social distance.
Social distance.
Instead of touching your
That's it.
face, do jazz hands. That's the.
That's it, jazz hands for everybody. That's right. I love that. Okay.
Well, thank you
That's
for
wonderful.
thank you for joining us. Thank you, Beth, for doing this. I had the crazy idea the other day, and we sort
was
of
a
made it
great
work.
idea.
And hopefully, maybe
Great.
we'll do it again. Maybe we won't ever do it again. Maybe it doesn't work. We'll see. All right, let's end this. All right, cool. You can still email us. Our email is still there. No one's still emailing us. Cocktails and curtain calls at gmail.com. No one has emailed us yet. So do that. So thank you again for joining us. And I'm going to stop this right now.